Ha 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 ha. Chai. This is not funny at all. In a village shrouded in poverty, a father's sacrifice binds his sons to a deadly choice. What would you do if the money you craved came at the price of your own life? There was a man who loved his children more than his own life. A man who carried the weight of a broken home and the silence of empty pots. Ezechi had tried everything. He worked until his body grew weak. He searched for help where there was none. He gave all he had, and still, it was never enough. Every day, he watched his sons grow thinner, their laughter slowly replaced with frustration, their hope turning into anger. And one day, he saw what he feared the most. Hunger had begun to change them. Anger filled their voices, pain filled their hearts, and the home he once held together began to fall apart before his eyes. He stood there, saying nothing, but inside him, something broke. That night, he sat alone, holding the memory of the woman he once loved. And for the first time, he realized that being alive was no longer enough to save them. So, before the sun could rise, before his sons could see the decision in his eyes, Ezechi made a choice no father should ever have to make. He walked away from his home, not because he did not love them, but because he loved them too much to stay and watch them suffer. Before the sun rose, Ezechi left his home in silence. Not a word to his sons, not a sound to reveal the weight in his heart. Only one man walked beside him, his friend Papa Nwosu. They walked deep into the forest, far beyond the paths of men, into a place where the air felt heavy and the world grew quiet. For a long time, neither of them spoke, until Papa Nwosu finally said, "Ezechi, whatever you are about to do, think again." Ezechi did not stop walking. "I have thought about it every night." His voice was calm, but filled with pain. "I cannot keep watching my children suffer." Papa Nwosu's voice trembled. "There must be another way." Ezechi stopped. For a moment, silence surrounded them. Then he said quietly, "If there is, it has not found me." They walked a little further until Ezechi stopped completely. "This is where you stay." Papa Nwosu looked at him, confused, afraid. But Ezechi only nodded. "Wait here." There was nothing else to say. No long goodbye, no turning back. And slowly, Ezechi walked alone into the forest. The trees closed around him until he was no longer seen. Papa Nwosu stood there, waiting. The silence became heavy. Then suddenly, the wind shifted, the forest stirred, and right before his eyes, a bag appeared on the ground. Heavy, unnatural, as if it had come from nowhere. Beside it, 2 letters, one sealed, the other left open. His hands trembled as he picked them up. The open letter was simple, a message written by his friend. "Take this to my family after 3 days." That was all. No explanation, no warning, just trust. Papa Nwosu looked toward the forest one last time, but Ezechi was gone, and slowly he turned and walked away.
3 days passed, and in the compound, something was wrong. Their father had not returned. Chidi paced with worry. Where is Papa? Emeka stood silent, watching the road. Even Uche had stopped shouting. Then Papa Nwosu appeared, but he did not enter immediately. He stood at the entrance, frozen, because he did not know what he himself did not understand. Papa Nwosu, they rushed toward him. Where is our father? What happened? But he had no answers, only what he was asked to deliver. Slowly, he stepped inside and handed over the sealed letter. Then, the bag. Silence fell. Emeka opened the letter, his hands shaking, and as the words were read, the truth began to unfold. Their father had given his life in exchange for that money, so that they would never suffer again. But the gift came with a condition. They could enjoy it, they could live freely, but only for 20 years. After that, everything would vanish. The money, the comfort, the life it brought, all gone. Silence filled the room, but this time, it was not just grief. It was something deeper, something dangerous, beginning to grow.
Papa Nwosu left them, and now it was just the 3 of them and the money. Silence filled the room. No one spoke at first. Only their eyes kept returning to the bag. Then Emeka finally spoke. No, we are not touching this money. His voice was calm but firm. What will we gain if we enjoy it for 20 years and then return to suffering again? He looked at them both. And worse, what if this is the price of our father's life? The words hung heavy in the air. Chidi nodded slowly. You are right. We can't do that to him. Hope flickered in his eyes. But Uche? Uche said nothing. His eyes were fixed on the bag. Then suddenly, are you both serious? His voice rose with frustration. Do you want to die in poverty? He stepped closer. This is our chance. But Emeka did not move. We are not touching it. Silence. Tension. Then slowly, Uche stepped back. Fine. But his voice carried something else. Something unsettled. Something not at peace. That night, they lay down to sleep. But not all minds were at rest. Quietly, Emeka dug into the ground beneath his mat, a small pit hidden from sight. He placed the bag inside, covered it carefully, and lay over it, as if guarding something sacred. But Emeka was not alone. From the doorway, someone was watching. Uche, silent, unseen. His eyes followed every movement as Emeka dug the ground, placed the bag inside, and covered it carefully. A slow smile formed on his face. Oh, so this is where you hid it, he said quietly to himself. Then he stepped back into the darkness, as if nothing had happened. Deep into the night, something happened. Emeka saw their father standing before him. For a moment, he trembled. Fear held his body still. But then, Emeka, the voice was gentle. Do not be afraid. Tears filled his eyes. Papa! Ezechi's face was filled with pain. I did not know. His voice broke. I did not know it would come with this kind of consequence. I only wanted to save you, to end your suffering. Emeka could not speak. Forgive me. There was silence. Then Ezechi continued. But there is still a way. If you truly want me back, do not touch the money. Not even a single coin. Wait for 3 Eke market days, and I will return to you, alive. But if you touch it, his voice faded slightly. Then I am gone forever, and you will live with the money,
but only for a time. 20 years, and then everything will disappear. Silence. Then slowly, Ezechi began to fade. Remember, do not touch it. Emeka woke up suddenly, breathing heavily, his heart racing. It felt real, too real to ignore. At once, he called his brothers. They gathered around him and he told them everything. Every word, every warning, every hope. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Chidi's eyes filled with light. Then Papa will come back. His voice trembled with hope. But Uche laughed, a dry, unbelieving laugh. So now, we should trust a dream? He shook his head. Anyone can dream anything. Is that what you want? To keep suffering because of a dream? The tension rose again. But before another word could be spoken, something changed. The air shifted, and suddenly, Dibia Oke appeared, calm, still, watching them. I bring a message. His voice was steady. From your father. Silence. He is in pain. He regrets what he has done. But he has sent a warning. Do not touch the money. Wait for 3 Eke market days, and he will return. But if you fail, he is gone forever. The room froze, because now it was no longer just a dream. It was truth. Dibiaoke looked at them one after the other. Then slowly, he disappeared. Silence remained, heavy, unavoidable. Chidi nodded quickly. We will not touch it. Hope filled his voice. Emeka said nothing, but his decision was already made. But Uche turned away, his jaw tight, his eyes dark, and even in silence, one thing was clear. His heart.
That night, while the compound slept, one heart remained awake. Uche, his mind restless, his thoughts consumed by one thing, the money. Slowly, he stood up and walked quietly into Chidi's room. Chidi was fast asleep. Chidi, he whispered. No response. He shook him gently. Chidi, wake up. Chidi opened his eyes, slowly, confused. What is it? Uche leaned closer, his voice low, urgent. Are we really going to sit here and remain poor? Chidi's sound. What are you saying? Uche's voice grew stronger. This is our chance. We have suffered enough. Why should we wait for something we are not even sure of? Chidi hesitated. Fear filled his eyes. But what if it's true? What if Papa comes back? Uche scoffed softly. A dream, Chidi, just a dream. Are you going to throw away your future because of a dream? Silence, tension, persuasion. Slowly, Chidi's resistance began to break. Fear still remained, but so did temptation. Finally, he nodded, reluctantly. I will follow you. Moments later, the two of them stepped out quietly. Uche held a small bag in his hand, prepared, ready. But Chidi came with nothing, only fear. They moved slowly, carefully, watching every step, waiting, because they knew Emeka was not in the room. He had stepped out. They entered. Chidi stopped at the door, his body frozen, his eyes wide with fear. But Uche moved forward, straight to the mat. He pulled it aside and began to dig, quickly, desperately. Then he found it, the bag. He opened it, and his face lit up. A quiet laugh escaped his lips. We are free! behind him, Chidi shook. Uche, let's go, please. But Uche did not listen. He began packing the money into his own bag, filling it, stuffing it, taking more and more. Then, suddenly, a voice. Uche, what are you doing? They froze. Emeka stood at the entrance. Shock filled his eyes. Uche turned slowly. What does it look like? His voice was cold, defiant. Emeka stepped forward. That bag you are carrying is Papa's blood. Drop it now. But Uche shook his head. No, I'm done suffering. And then everything exploded. They rushed at each other, a violent struggle, hands pushing, bodies clashing. Chidi stood frozen. Uche, stop! But no one listened. In the chaos, Uche grabbed a wooden chair. Without thinking, he swung it. It landed. Hard. Silence. Emeka collapsed. Chidi screamed, Emeka! He rushed to him, shaking him, but there was no response. Uche stood still, shocked, breathing heavily. For a moment, regret flickered. What have I done? But then, his eyes fell on the money. And just like that, the feeling disappeared. He picked up the bag, turned, and walked away. Chidi's cries filled the night. Help! Somebody help! But no one came. Uche did not look back. He arrived at a hotel, a place far from the life he once knew. He threw the money on the bed, scattering it everywhere, laughing, finally free. He picked up his phone. Adeze, come, I've made it. Moments later, Adeze stood at the door, watching, smiling, her eyes sharp, observing everything. They ate, they drank, they celebrated, as if the world belonged to them. But the night was not done. Back in the room, Adeze watched him closely. Then, quietly, she poured something into his drink. Uche drank, still smiling, still dreaming. Moments later, his body weakened, his smile faded. Confusion, fear. Then, he collapsed. Adeze stood still, watching him. No emotion. Then, slowly, she gathered the money, packed everything, and walked away. Outside, she moved fast, heading for the motor park, ready to disappear. Back in the compound, Chidi still cried beside Emeka, hopeless, broken. Then, suddenly, a presence, Dibia Oke, appeared, calm, powerful. He bent down, touched Emeka, and in that moment, life returned. Emeka gasped, breathing again, alive. Dibia Oke spoke. Your brother Uche is gone, betrayed and destroyed by greed. And the woman, her girlfriend, has taken the money. He looked at Emeka. There is still time. He told him where to go, where to find her. Emeka stood up immediately, this time not alone. At the motor park, she was about to escape, but Emeka arrived with the police. That's her! The officers moved quickly. They stopped her, took the bag, and placed her under arrest. Silence, justice, consequence. And Emeka stood there, holding the money again, but this time, everything had changed.
That afternoon, as the sun scorched the village, Chidi sat on a wooden bench outside, his knuckles white, his jaw clenched. He waited, his heart pounding, until Emeka finally arrived in the blazing afternoon light, carrying the bag. When Emeka finally returned carrying the bag of money, his face was heavy with sorrow. Chidi sprang up, his voice shaking. "Emeka, where is Uche? Where is my brother?" Emeka took a deep breath and told him the entire story. How Uche had been killed by Adaeze, how they recovered the money from her grasp. Chidi asked Emeka angrily, "So, what about the money? What are we doing with it?" Emeka said they will still keep the money, wait for the 3 Eke market days for their father's return. As Emeka set the bag of money on the floor, Chidi exploded, his eyes blazing with rage. "After all this, you still dey hold this money? You no get shame?" he cried, his voice cracking. But Emeka, calm but firm, replied, "We go still wait, Papa go come back." And so, with a heavy heart, Chidi walked out, his anger boiling. He went straight to the herbalist, the shadows of his grief guiding him. And the herbalist, with a knowing gaze, warned him. Emeka was protected by forces beyond their understanding. If Chidi wanted revenge, he must run mad for 3 days, as no one hurts Emeka successfully in his right senses. And so the ritual began. After the ceremony, Chidi staggered barefoot into the streets, madness overtaking him. By the 3rd day into the madness, Chidi's clothes were torn, his hair wild, and that wooden stick in his hand was meant for Emeka's destruction. As he stepped into the house, Emeka lay fast asleep. Chidi raised the stick, poised to strike, but in that instant, he froze, his arms locked in the air, and before either could move, Dibia Oke appeared between them like a bolt of lightning. Chidi collapsed, stick slipping from his fingers, and he fell into darkness. When he awoke, Dibia Oke was gone, and Emeka stood right before him. Chidi was overwhelmed by shame. He fell to his knees and begged Emeka for forgiveness, vowing never again to let greed tear them apart. And so they made a pact. Side by side, they would wait for the 3 Ekembake days. As evening fell on that final day of waiting, they sat on their bench, the bag of money between them, holding on to the last thread of hope. But Dibia Oke appeared once more and told them, "No point waiting. The money was touched and your father is gone forever." They wept, broken by loss, but they chose not to touch the money. And though it vanished, they built a life of purpose. Years later, they stood tall, older, wiser, surrounded by their families, proof that even without shortcuts, faith and hard work can lead you to success.
Some blessings that come too fast carry hidden sorrow. Not every shortcut leads to peace. Sometimes the greatest wealth is the people God leaves beside you. And even when life breaks you, choose love over greed. Because money can build a house, but only peace can build a home. Before you leave, ask yourself, what would you have chosen? The money or your father? If this story moved you, comment next video in the comment section below and tell us where you are watching from. Don't forget to support this channel with a like and subscribe. Your support will help us bring more powerful African stories to life. Thank you for watching. EGO OBARA.